Now, I'm not so dyspeptic about that. If you think about artificial intelligence, again, an industry that's been around for many, many decades, it's had many winters before, and it's all seemed to recover. In fact, what's interesting is that the artificial intelligence that we have today looks very different than the artificial intelligence that was created when the term was coined in the 1950s. The very term artificial intelligence was a new term that was coined for a research proposal at a summer event for academics at Dartmouth in 1956. And in 1955, in the research proposal, they called it artificial intelligence because they didn't want to use the term that was being used before that period, which was cybernetics. Because the author of the book Cybernetics is sort of the grandfather of cybernetics, was a guy named Norbert Wiener at MIT. He was a mathematician, he was a polymath, and he was an absolute asshole. And everyone hated him. He was a pugnacious brat who thought he knew all the answers in every room that he entered, because he did, but nevertheless nobody wanted to work with him. So they decided they had to have a different term for it, so they called it artificial intelligence. And it did extremely well. People like Martin Minsky and John McCarthy were developing it. And there was this idea in the background that we should actually apply the technology a little bit like how the human mind and the neurons work. It was an idea of a synapse and wiring. But it didn't really work. And in fact, Minsky and McCarthy put the knife to it, and they were doing something a little bit more symbolic, trying to get how the human mind made decisions. And so we know that the human mind is rational, the human mind is sequential, the human mind is logical, and all we need to do is enshrine in hardware and then in software the same features of how to make decisions in the human mind into computing, and therefore we would have artificial intelligence. And it worked. A little, until it didn't, because it was very brittle. Because what we know about the human mind is that we're not rational. We don't think sequential. We're not logical. We're a jumble of thoughts, and it's really a mystery that we can get anything done at all. And then later, the behavioralists would tell us, like Kahneman, that in fact, we're filled with cognitive biases. So we've got these other problems. So the symbolic revolution that took off and showed so much promise, and in the 1980s, there was companies like IntelliCore, and Techonomy. In fact, these are such great names that I think we should get the domain name system tonight because the brands are brilliant. They were doing fantastically well, getting a lot of capital, until the system hit a wall, and this idea of expert systems crashed. And so we had the first AI winter.